Don't forget to like and subscribe to Jolie Knots Crochet. Share with your friends. Hit that little notification bell so you can get notified when new patterns release. All our videos are available in left and right-handed tutorials. Hi everyone, welcome back to Jolie Knots Crochet. I'm Crystal and today we are going to be making this Valentine heart beanie. Now I have made two of them, a smaller one for my daughter and then a larger one for myself. So you can of course do the mommy and me's if you like. Now the way that we're going to do this is we are going to start going back and forth with the ribbing, okay? And then we're going to work up from the bottom going up with our white, switching to the red, white, red, and then white again. And then we'll sew up our hat all the way on the top. You can add a pom-pom if you like, if that's what you want to do. No problem, go ahead and do that. Now the yarn that I am using for these hats today is a simple worsted 4-weight yarn, Karen 1 pound. This is, in my opinion, a thick, dense 4-weight yarn. So the hook size that I'm going to use is a 5.5 millimeter hook for our band. And then we're going to switch to a 6 millimeter hook for the top. Now you can do this project in any yarn weight that you like. That's not going to be a problem. Go ahead and start with your recommended hook size for your band, and then you'll go up a hook size for the top and the body of your hat. All right, everybody, go ahead and grab your materials, your yarn and your hooks, and we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start out by making the band. Now for this size, I made this one for my daughter and I made it 17 inches long. And this fits her head pretty good. I went 48 rows. Now the band that I'm going to make is going to be for an adult size. And remember, we're going to do it in multiples of 6. So for a child size, you're going to want about 17 inches wide, maybe 18 or a little bit smaller, depending on the child's head that you're making it for. And for an adult, you're going to want to go maybe about 19 inches wide, maybe a little bit bigger for larger heads or a little bit smaller for smaller heads. So with my 5.5 millimeter hook, I'm going to chain 10. And into the second chain from the hook, I'm going to single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet into every space, every chain after that. So I'm going to have 9 single crochets. Now if you're using a smaller hook and a smaller yarn, I mean, feel free to customize the width of your band. So my band I'm making is going to be about 2.5 inches wide. So if you're using a smaller hook and a smaller yarn, then you'll probably want to chain more unless you want a smaller band. All right. Once you get to the end, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and now we're going to single crochet into the back loop only of every stitch down. And this is going to be your repeat row. So you're just going to grow this band in multiples of 6 until you get to the size that you desire. All right, so you're repeating that second row. Then you're going to repeat row 2, which is just chaining 1, turning your work, single crocheting into the back loop only. Continue doing that until you get the size that you want. Okay, I have completed my band. I made my band 19 inches wide, and it will give a stretch to 20. I've made my band 19 inches wide, and it'll give it a stretch to about 23 or 24. I've got a big head and I've got a lot of curly hair, so I go up a size. Now I made 60 rows. My daughter's was 48 and mine is 60, okay? So now to put these together, just as if we were going to turn and work down this row, we are going to put the beginning of your band, fold them together, and then we're going to work down the same way as if we were putting single crochets, only we're slip stitching. So do your chain 1, find your first stitch and go through the back loop only, but then find the chain space on the other side and slip stitch. Next stitch, back loop only, chain space on the other side, and slip stitch all the way down to join. Now this will be the inside of your work, but when you look on the outside, you're not going to be able to see where your join is. All right, and my last one. Okay, so flip that inside out, and you can't even tell where the join is there. Okay? All right, so get yourself into a good working position. And from here, now what we're going to do is switch out from our 5.5 millimeter hook, and we're going to take our 6 millimeter hook. Now, if you're working a different yarn, you're just going to go up a hook size. I mean, use your recommended hook size for your band, and then just go up a hook size for the when you get to the body. So you're going to chain 1, and now what we're going to do is put a single crochet into the side of every row. I'm going to work over my tail so I don't have to weave that in later. So into the side of the first row, now into the side of the second row, and you should have the same amount of single crochets as you have of the rows that you made. So with my daughters, I had 48 rows, 48 single crochets. This one I'm going to have 60 rows and 60 single crochets. Go ahead and work your single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you back to get started on our pattern. Okay, when we get to our last single crochet, making sure that they're in multiples of 6, we're just going to slip stitch to our first single crochet to join. Okay, from here, what you're going to do is chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch. Now you're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the third stitch, we're going to put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 stitches. Into the third stitch, we're going to put another single crochet. So this is your repeat. Single crochet, skip 2, 5 double crochets. Skip 2, single crochet, skip 2, 5 double crochets. And that's what you're going to repeat around your band all the way until you get to the end here. After you have 5 double crochets, you should have 2 stitches left, and then we'll slip stitch into our single crochet. So let me finish mine out, and I will meet you right back so we can close it up and get started on the next round. All right, now that I've got 2 stitches left, my single crochet would be next. What I'm going to do here is switch my color to red. Now you can use red or pink or, you know, whatever color you want for your hearts. And I'm going to, with my slip stitch, I'm going to go in, grab my new color, and pull, oops, grab my new color and pull that up. Okay, I'm going to drop my white, and I'm going to chain 3 with my red. That's going to count as our first double crochet. Alright, so from here into that single crochet, we are going to put 4 more double crochets. So we'll have a total of 5 double crochets, including our chain 3. Then we'll find the middle of this 5 double crochet fan, and we're going to single crochet right into the top of the middle one. That's our repeat. From here, 5 double crochets into your single crochet, single crochet on top of the middle double crochet. So this is what you should look like. Go ahead and complete that all the way across, and I will meet you back to join. Alright, so here we are at the end of our row. I'm going to put my last single crochet on top of the fan, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my 3rd chain and pull that really tight. Okay, that's the end of your row. Now getting started on our next row, what we're going to do is chain 2. Now we're going to do a double crochet cluster, double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, go into that first stitch that we slip stitched into, partial double crochet into the next one, partial double crochet, and the last one should be right in the middle. Partial double crochet, yarn over, pull through all stitches, chain 2, and into the middle stitch that we just worked our last partial into, we're going to put a single crochet. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another double crochet 3 together. So 1, 2, 3, pull through all 4 loops, chain 2, and slip stitch into the last stitch worked. Now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which is a single crochet, and into the next stitch, which is your first double crochet of your next heart. And we're going to repeat this. Chain 2, double crochet 3 together, first one in the same stitch that was just slip stitched into, the next stitch, and your middle stitch. Chain 2, single crochet back into that middle stitch, chain 2, and double crochet 3 together again, right into the middle stitch, the next stitch, and the last stitch. Chain 2, slip stitch into the last stitch worked. That's your repeat. So you're going to be creating these hearts, repeating that all the way around, and I will meet you right back here. Okay, here I go finishing up my last heart. And I am going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and right there is where I am going to cut my yarn. Now you can cut your yarn, you can carry your yarn up, you can do whatever it is that you would like to do to change your colors. In my daughter's, I carried up the yarn, and in this one I'm just going to cut it. Okay? So now what we're going to do is take our white, and I am going to start with a standing double crochet in between any heart. Okay, Now when I do my standing double crochet, I am starting into the same stitch from the white fans, just underneath our single crochet and our slip stitches. So this is going to be a long double crochet. So we're going to pull it up to the height of our work and then complete our double crochet. And that's what you should look like. Okay. Now we're going to skip all the way over to the single crochet that's in the middle of the heart. And we're going to put 5 double crochets into the single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From there, we're going to do a double crochet just like we did over here into the top of the white fan, working over the red stitches. Go in, pull the loop up to the height of your work, and double crochet. That's your repeat. Moving over to your single crochet, putting 5 double crochets in there, and then we're separating our hearts with that long double crochet. Long double crochet, and that's it. That's what you're going to repeat all the way around until you get right back to your first stitch. Alright, here I am with my last fan. I am going to slip stitch to the top of my standing double crochet. And now what we're going to do is create another row of fans, just like we did down here. So I'm going to chain 3, and that's going to count as my first double crochet. And I'm going to put 4 more double crochets into my long double crochet. So we should have a total of 5 double crochets, counting your chain 3. Now we're going to single crochet into the top of the middle double crochet of your fan and move over and put 5 more double crochets on top of the double crochet. And then we're going to single crochet right into the top of the middle. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and repeat that around until you get back to the beginning, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, here I am at my last fan. So what I'm going to do is single crochet into the middle stitch. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my 3rd chain to join those rounds. Pull that nice and tight. And next, it's going to be hard to work into this single crochet, so I'm going to slip stitch 1, 2 stitches to line myself up right onto the top of the middle double crochet. Chain 1 and single crochet. And now we're going to repeat the round we just did. So we've got a single crochet on top of the middle stitch, and then we'll put 5 single crochets, we'll put 5 double crochets into our single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the middle stitch, and then 5 double crochets on top of your single crochet. This will be the last round of white before we do another row of hearts. go ahead and work that around, and I'll show you how we're going to get started on our next set of hearts. Alright, here I am at the end. I've done my last fan. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my single crochet. Get that really tight, and I'm going to snip my white off. And now we're going to change back to red. We are going to work both of our red rows. And here we've done 3 fan rows, but when you finish out, you're going to do 4 fan rows. So go ahead and rewind to the video. You'll start with your standing. You'll start with your yarn into any single crochet. Chaining 3. And then putting the rest of your 4 double crochets into that stitch, and you're going to repeat your hearts and your fans, but you're finishing out with 4 rows of fans. Meet me back here and I'll teach you how we're going to close it up. Okay, so I have completed both of my rows of hearts, and I finished out here with 4 rows of fans. So what I'm going to do now is take a tapestry needle, and we're going to go in and out of every stitch all the way around, just weaving your needle in and out of every stitch. Once we get it all closed up, we're going to go back and forth several times. We'll go back and forth several times to help close up that gap. Sideways. Come on, Maddie, stop. So just keep going back and forth until you feel like yours is secure enough. Now, if you are going to put a pom-pom on, now is the time to put your pom-pom on. Alright, I think that's going to be good for me. So when you're done, just go ahead and push it right down through to the bottom. And you can tie it off with several knots so that it does not come out. Then you'll snip your yarn, weave in your ends on the middle, and you've got your beautiful heart hat. Alright, thank you everybody for watching Jolie Knots Crochet. Don't forget to join us in the Jolie Knots Crochet community on Facebook and show us the creations that you've made.